Hello there. No hat, I know. I'm aware of that. I wanted to talk about something. I think we got really lazy, and the reason why I'm saying this is because of my video yesterday about Arch Linux, right? So in general, Arch Linux is really easy distribution. No matter what people been telling you, Arch is really easy, right? You want a package installed, type one command, it will pull your package, it will pull all of your dependencies, it will install all of the libraries. If you need a driver for something, like for graphics or something, sound drivers, sound software, pipe wire, whatever, all of this will get pulled automatically, and in some of the cases you will get a choice to choose between 1, 2 or 3 options. And as I said, this is incredibly easy, and the reason why we got lazy is because of what I said yesterday, right? So Kdenlive stopped working because Arch has changed something, right? And they did for sure make a mistake, but you know, mistakes happen to everyone, and no distribution is perfection. But when I say perfection, I don't mean that something is wrong with a distribution, and even less with Arch Linux. Arch Linux is fine, superb actually. And what I mean by this is the Linux ecosystem in general is pretty perfect nowadays. If you remember the good old days, or if you are younger, maybe you will get something out of my words, right? We used to install a distribution in a way that we would just get the base of it, and from the CD from which we have been installing, and some of us were using also floppy disks for that, we would need to get the kernel source from the CD and recompile it with support for the drivers for the hardware that we own in this particular computer, right? And once you would compile the drivers for your modem, then you would have the ability to connect to the internet and basically download the newer version of the kernel, which may have support for the drivers for your graphics card. And now you would compile the kernel once again. You would have a newer one. You would support in the drivers for not just your modem, but also for your graphics card, but also for your sound blaster card, and etc. Right? You would do all of this manually because there was literally no other way to get your hardware working. This was the only way, right? There was no way to load the drivers dynamically while the system is running. The only way was to recompile the kernel, and this was actually the easy job. The next thing, you would have to install your X server. You would have to understand the capabilities of your graphics card and the capabilities of your CRT monitor, your vertical and horizontal refresh rates. You would have to type all of these numbers into the configuration file and verify that this is indeed functional, operational. Then you would get your the window manager and stuff like that, and over time it would take you a couple of days to get your system to a really usable state, right? And when you would want some application, you would simply download it from the internet, compile it, and you have it, right? It is really simple. Nowadays people think, and I am guilty of that as well, that if an application doesn't exist in the main repository of the distribution of your choice, then this may be a good chance to switch your distribution for some other one that is more suited to your needs. And simply for the fact of this scenario, right? This basically means that Linux is perfect nowadays, because with just a command or two you can get pretty much any software that you need or want in your computing life, right? So you really don't have to bother with compiling anything, understanding the dependencies or whatnot, right? Because if you download a source code for any application that you need, it really doesn't matter which distribution you're using. You can use Slackware and you will have all of the software that exists in the world, all of the free software, right? So you just get the source code, you compile it as per instructions, make config, make install. If something is missing, you will install that first, like libraries or dependencies or whatever. If you don't have it in your package repository of your distribution of choice, then you can download it manually, compile that first, install that first, and then switch to the final compilation of your program, right? So from this perspective, I still think that we are very spoiled, like the entire Linux community. Maybe the individuals are not, but I am generally talking about myself and a lot of people who I have genuinely often how do I put it, frequent conversations with, right? And this is kind of awesome. I think this is really awesome. I think Linux as an ecosystem, not as a kernel but as a whole ecosystem, I think we are in such a good place nowadays that we got spoiled, right? We have everything, and I think with the access to the Debian package manager, which is the absolute fantasy, it's absolutely awesome. Pacman is pretty good as well. RPM based package managers like DNF and stuff like that, also very awesome. And all of the rest of them are in a pretty amazing spot nowadays. Compared to how it began, we are really in such a good state that I really cannot state or emphasize enough in how lucky we are nowadays to have all of the stuff available for us under our, how do we say this in English, right? At our fingertips, or I meant something else, not the fingers, but it doesn't really matter. I think you got my point, right? So anyway, let me know what you think about what I'm saying, and I actually want to know, did this video change anything in your perspective of the free software community, in the Linux ecosystem, and anything that surrounds the entire vibe of the video that I just recorded. And I'm gonna see you in the comments, and I'm gonna see you in the next video, right? Bye.